Hi, this is Tennille King. We're looking at Complete Studio Manager for Bento, and in this video we'll go ahead into some detail on the address book. And we're going to use the different forms that are included in the address book library to enter some information. So let's pretend that I'm entering a contact. We'll give them a name, Jane Smith. And Jane is, let's say, a client, because I want to be able to show you client information. You can also choose what type of client. Is she a vendor? Is she a local business? Another photographer you might network with? Or maybe Jane's a personal contact, whatever you like. But you'll see at the bottom, you can choose edit field. In all of the choice fields in this template, I've given you default options, but you can change these however you like. You can add and delete. You can take away anything that I've included. You can add your own. You can also change the order. Maybe you want your inquiries up top. You just drag and pull to where you want them located. You can do any of that here in the edit the choice field. So Jane is a client of mine. I don't need to enter her company, her website, phone, email, and address for work if I don't want to. If you'd like to have your contacts' work information, go ahead. This section is here more for local businesses, vendors that you use, other photographers that you network with, that sort of thing. So that section is helpful there. Here, let's just go ahead and enter some information so you can see. I'm just clicking on the field, entering the information for cell phone, home phone, email. We'll say jane@email.com, and Jane's address. We've got her information entered there. Now, if you have this syncing with your address book, if you open address book right now, you're going to find Jane Smith in there and all of her contact information ready to go, which is great if you have an iPad or an iPhone that you want to be able to have your contact information at your fingertips. Now, I walk out of the studio, I've got my phone in my hand, I've got Jane Smith's information with me. It's so convenient. I love it. The other form you're going to see, now we're still on Jane Smith, so I'm going to click over here to client details. I've already entered her name, so we see we're still working with Jane Smith, and I want to decide what status is this client. And we're using these tabs here, client details, client history, because Jane Smith is a client. If she was a different type of contact, you could skip these two forms altogether. Let's go ahead and say that I have Jane Smith scheduled. She has scheduled her appointment, but I have not photographed her yet. And again, you have the choice field. You can go in and edit. You can delete any of these I've given you. You can add your own. You can change the order. So Jane's scheduled. Here in workflow stage, again, I've given you just a suggested workflow. Change this to your own workflow. Reorder things, rename things, delete things as you like, but this is just a generic workflow similar to what I use, maybe a few slight tweaks, but in general similar to what I use. So I have already, she's already requested information and I've already sent that information. If not, I can show her workflow stage as info requested, and when I'm trying to track who's everybody that requested information, I'll be able to later sort through and find all those people, and then I'll be able to send them their information and know it's been sent. Here I've said she's already scheduled her session. For me, I'm going to say I've already invoiced her and she's paid it, and I've sent her an email about my client information site. And in that email, she went to the site and she signed her terms agreement and she sent in her interview. And then I recorded her information in Bento, as I just did. I recorded her contact information. So now the next thing for me that I would do is prepare for session email. And we'll say for now I've already sent her the email on preparing for her session. So right now in the workflow process, her session is confirmed. I'm just waiting to shoot it. Now here I have birthdays, and this is where it gets a little tricky to show you what the best order to do things is. But birthdays is basically, this section is pulling information from this birthday tracking library. So I'm going to go ahead and backtrack real quick here to the birthday tracking library. And I'm going to say Jane Smith is my client, but her daughter is Susie, okay? So Susie's birthday is May 12th of 2003. Oop, sorry. They want me to put it in a different order. You can use a calendar. Let's do it that way. It's not going to make me choose the year. That's why it did that. So that's great because then you don't have to pick what year. It's just going to show you that Susie's birthday is May 12th. Okay, so we've got Susie Smith and her birthday is May 12th, but I need to attach her to a client so that I can track it. This button down here, you'll click, and if I had a whole bunch of contacts, they would all be listed here, and I would choose or search for which client. I know that we are working with Jane Smith right now, so I'm going to choose Jane, and I'm going to save. Let's go ahead back to Jane, and you see now in the birthdays, Susie's birthday shows up as May 12th. The other way you can do that, so you can either enter through birthday tracking, you can also enter it right here. See the plus key? You can add a related record. Well, Susie has a brother named John. So Johnny's birthday, maybe February 8th. Give it a minute. So now we've got it tracked here. So either way, if we go back into birthday tracking, I now have, two records, one of two. If I scroll through, now John's birthday is also in birthday tracking. So you can see how those two are related. This is called a related field. The birthday tracking is related to the client. The client is related to the birthday tracking entry. Hopefully that makes sense for you. Same thing here with the referred by. Your referral program tracking is going to give you the referred by person in order to track the actual referral. But in this case, you just want to be able to link to who this person was referred by. You're going to have to go ahead and add that in. So now I'm going to add that Jane Smith was referred by Mike Miller. I don't have Mike Miller in here yet, so I added him. Well, now you see in my address book, I have two records. And Mike Miller is now my other record because I added him as a referral here, okay? Since Mike, let's go ahead and real quick, bear with me and follow my process here. We're going to add another person named Steve Summers. I'm totally making these names up. I want to go back to Jane Smith, okay? Let's say, forget about Mike Miller. He never existed. Jane Smith was referred by Steve. We're going to choose the record from here. Steve Summers is who referred her. Save the changes. So I just want you to get a feel with all of these related records that you can either choose from the information it's linked to, or you can add or delete records here. So in this case, this is referred by a contact. You can add a contact through here. Now you'll notice when I added Mike as the example, it only entered Mike's first and last name in the contact information. We would then have to go back through and add all of Mike's information. Hopefully that makes sense for you. Okay, the next related field, if we had any marketing campaigns going on, we haven't entered any yet. But if we did, we would click here. You should have that information in first. So you should be able to click from this list and choose how did you find this person? What type of campaign did you enter? And we'll go through that on the marketing campaigns library. And then if there are any gift certificates involved, again, that's tracked over here on its own. You can add from the gift certificate library, or you can add new. And if you add a related record, it's also going to put it into the gift certificate library. So I hope you got that, with these libraries here, you can choose existing information with this icon, or you can add your own information with the add a new record icon. And if you do add the related record, it is going to be related to the library that you're adding it to. So you won't have to add it twice. You won't be entering a gift certificate here and then also have to go into gift certificates here. It's going to put it in both places at the same time and make it simple and easy. On the client history form, this is a lot of tracking. You won't really need to do any entry here because the entry is actually going to take place in these libraries. This is just a nice summary place for you. So anytime your client places an order and they're down here in the invoice library, we're going to link to that client. We're going to enter that client's order information. When we go back to the client, we're going to have that order information already linked for us. So you're not, with the client history form, you're not really adding information here so much as it's collecting summaries for you. When you enter referrals into your referral program library, it's going to show you all the people they've referred and whether it's been redeemed or not and what their referral reward was. When you enter an iCal event up here, you're going to have the opportunity to relate it to an appointment. All of the appointments related to that client are going to show up here. Related emails is a little bit different. If you're using Apple Mail, you can click this button and it will bring mail items up that you can search through. You may really only want to use related emails for important emails that you want to keep track of. You may not necessarily want to connect, relate, link, whatever you want to call it, every single email. That's up to you. But I think for myself, I'll only be connecting emails that are important. So this is probably one of the only, if not the only, related field on this history form that you'll actually use the button here to add. And you'll see when you hover over it, it says choose the Apple Mail item and drag it to the list. When you create a task and when you create a project, you have the opportunity to link it to a client or a contact if you need to. And if you have linked a contact to any task or project, it's going to show up here for you. And then last, in the address book, you have notes. You can type freehand, whatever you want. You can enter. This can be any information that you want for the client. And there's your quick overview on the address book.